What's going on? Good morning. It is Craig Bennett, aka Cash Cake, here with DFSArmy, and I got a prize picks video where I'm going to give you my favorite 5 prize picks. It's very simple. If you want a little action on the game, there's no NFL tonight, so if you want a little college football action, it's very easy. All you're going is over, under on fantasy points or single stat. Again, I'm going to give you 5 picks. If you want to have something while you're watching it, it's a lot of fun. If you don't have an account, click on the link below and get yourself a $100 instant deposit match using code DFSArmy. It's very simple, a lot of fun to play. If you don't have time to build, DFS showdowns, it's a very easy thing to do. Really love it. So jump on in there and see what we got to offer. So with that, let's jump on those 5 picks and I'll talk about them. So as you can see, I have this already loaded up with the 5 picks that I like. It's very simple. College football. Again, they have not only fantasy points, but they have these single stats: passing yards, rush yards, receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns, pass touchdowns, etc. It's very simple. I have these loaded up already. I'll kind of go through the rest of them as well before I talk about them. But again, if you haven't checked out, I did a video today, if you're doing daily fantasy, where I walked through the game, kind of talked about how I see it playing out, and that's going to reflect on how I do these price picks as well, because again, you kind of have to build a game script, how you think it's going to go. That's going to have to dictate where you think the yards and scoring is going to go. So with that, I think it's going to be a throwing game. Again, we got Bryce Young at over 311.5 yards. I think they're going to throw a ton here, but that's a pretty high number. I'm staying away from both these, but if I had to pick one, it would be Stetson Bennett over 254. I just think both teams throw a lot more here instead of run, so I don't really want to go super heavy on the running backs. So rushing yards here, Brian Robinson Jr., 71.5. If we looked at that SEC championship game where Bama won 41-24, he ended up running 16 carries for 55 yards. It's a pretty fair number for him because he could bust one and go over that pretty easily. I'm just going to kind of stay away here. Zamir White, James Cook, both 46.5, 40.5. Again, I'm just going to stay away. In that SEC championship game, Cook went 11 for 38. Zamir White went 7 for 27. So they both went under that. I just don't really want to touch them, but, they went under all 3 of these in the SEC championship game. Again, I think it's going to be more throwing, maybe, but these numbers are just a little too low for me to take a chance on it. Now, Bryce Young, 12.5 yards. I wouldn't mind going over on this. He could get that in one scramble. So if you're going to take a chance on that, I don't mind that. Same thing with Stetson Bennett, get him out of the pocket, 11.5 yards. They can do that in one rush. I just think they're a little bit risky to do that. And then Trey Sanders, 19.5 yards. If I was going to bet that, I would go the under. I'm not touching the rushing, like I said, but he had 6 carries for 21 yards, and I don't mind if you're going to take a chance on him to go over. Should be the bottom 3 that I'd look at here. Receiving yards, again, Jameis Williams, 102.5 here. Now, this first game, they had John Mechie. He went 6 for 97, a touchdown. Jameis Williams went 7 for 184 and 2 touchdowns in that first matchup. I kind of feel like they're going to try to stop Jameis Williams. Now, he's a stud. I don't know if I can touch that. I think with Mechie departing, there's some numbers here that are pretty low. And as you can see, one of the bets here, the 2 of the bets that I have on these receiving yards is Jaleel Billingsley, the tight end for Bama, over 15.5 reception yards. I think, he went 2 catches for 27 in that first game. But again, John Mechie played, and I think Bama's going to be spreading the ball out a little bit more here. So you can get the reception yards are going to be, I think he's going to get closer to 30, 40, maybe 50 here. So I love the over on that. I think that's way too low. Ja'Cory Brooks is going to fit into that John Mechie role. So with that, John Mechie went 6 for 97 and a touchdown. Ja'Cory Brooks only went 1 catch for 9 yards. But again, he slides into that John Mechie role, and 38.5 yards just seems really low here. I want to be over on that as well. Again, if they try to stop Jameis Williams, which they should try to do, they got stud cornerbacks that are NFL caliber. Hopefully we can get Brooks here, 50, 60 yards. So both of these I like a lot. And then the next 3 here I have in reception. So first I'll talk about the receiving yards, these other plays. Slade Bolden, again, if I was going to bet, I'd go over 35.5. I'm not touching Jameis Williams at 102 because it can go both ways. He could smash or they could slow him down. I just think that's a fair number, and I don't want to touch it. Brock Bowers, again, stud tight end for Georgia. It's just him. I think Pickens is going to have a big game, which I'll talk about in the receptions. But he went 10 catches for $139 and a touchdown last game. I think if I was going to bet, I would go the over on Bowers as well. Again, I think it's going to be, again, another pass-heavy game away from the running, so I wouldn't mind going over on that. Don't really want to touch Robinson here. Burton, 36.5. He went 3 catches for 36. Don't really want to touch that one. None of really the running backs I want to touch too much here. Pickens, 30.5 reception yards. He went 2 catches for 41 last time. I expect a big game out of Pickens here, so I like this one. If you're going to go the over, this would be the next one that I would pick after Billingsley and Brooks. If I was going to take one more, it'd be the over on Pickens at 30.5 yards. And I don't really want to touch Latu or Washington here. I think I would mainly look at the Billingsley over, Brooks over, and then Pickens over 30.5, and Brock Bowers over 70.5. Those are the ones that I really like. Fantasy points, I'm going to show you this. We actually have a Prizepicks tool that we have for college football, NFL, and NBA, and for MLB that's coming up. So here you can kind of see this pulls in the API from Prizepicks, bounces it off the projections that we do have, and it'll tell you over under real quick and how much the edge you're going to get and tell you the bets. It's a fantastic tool that we have over at DFSArmy. If you sign up with promo code CashGate, get yourself 10%. You can get those tools, and as the lines change, that tool is automatically updated. So it's a fantastic tool. And if you play Prizepicks a lot, it's something you can sign up for and get all that. Again, it's updated every day for NBA, which we have a decent slate tonight, NFL, and then with baseball coming up, it's just we just continue to grow and add tools like that. So it's one of those things that we want to go. So as we're kind of looking at this a little bit more, let's head down to the receptions. Again, I have 3 receptions here that I really like. George Pickens, 1.5. That's just really low. I think he's going to have a monster game here. I love the over on this. It's probably one of my favorite bets on the board. Actually, both him and Ja'Cory Brooks at 2.5. Again, he's going to slide in that Mechie roll. 2.5 is just way too low. If I was going to pick, out of all 5 of these, Pickens and Brooks, the over on these, I love a lot. Same thing with Billingsley and Brooks with those yards, but these are just extremely too low. Jameis Williams, 7. That's about right. I don't want to touch that. Bolden, I would go the over on that, but it could be a little bit risky as well. But I would lean the over on that. Again, Brian Robinson, I really want to touch the running backs too much, so I'm not going to look at it. So again, Pickens just feels like almost free money at over 1.5 in a big game like this, which he's a stud wide receiver and he's finally healthy. I think we can see 4, 5, 6 catches out of him in this game. I think he saw 6 targets in that SEC championship game, caught 2 for 41. But I think he's going to catch easily 3 or 4 balls. So by far my favorite pick on the board over here at Prizepicks here. And then again, Brock Bowers over 5 catches. I told you already that he went for 10 catches for 139 touchdown. I think it's going to be another big Brock Bowers game. I think it's going to be Brock Bowers and George Pickens. That's where the most of it's going to go. The Alabama secondary is a little shaky. I think that they can take advantage of that with Stetson Bennett, and those are the 2 I like. So these are the 5 that I like. They're all overs, again, because I think I'm going to attack the passing game and leave the running back game alone. So that's what I'm kind of looking at here. Let's head on back.